Welcome to Universal Love, a sanctuary for spiritual seekers on the path to enlightenment. In my last video, part 1, I explained how I came across channeled messages through a YouTube channel called The Starseeds, which no longer exists. The message was from the Arcturians, channeled by Daniel Scranton. I do not have this incredible ability to channel myself, but the message resonated with me in such a way I thought someone was spying on my thoughts. When I shared the messages with a friend, he was the one who answered back, laughing at me for believing in such crazy things, and sent me a video of Daniel actually doing the channeling. It did make me laugh, as he has the funkiest way to channel. But right away, I didn't care how crazy he looked. His message was still in my head. I might have been channeling with the Arcturians without knowing, just through my own inner conversation. Since then, I have studied the theme of channeling thoroughly. Thanks to the Next Level Soul podcast and Alex Ferrari, I had the chance to understand more and more where these messages came from and developed an inner trust for it all. Anyway, let's get back to the subject of this video. What happened when I asked the aliens for proof of their presence? My paranormal experiences post-awakening. So one day, I was at my mom's house and my 11-year-old nephew came from school for lunchtime. My mom was preparing ramen in the kitchen, and my nephew and I were waiting in the dining room. As we were waiting, we spent the time playing a little game and throwing a little ball of paper into a plastic container that was on the table. We had been taking turns throwing the little ball of paper into the plastic container and trying to get it from a little further every time, until my mom came and served the ramen bowls. So there were 2 ramen bowls on the table, and she went back to the kitchen for the 3rd bowl. In the meantime, I decided to take the last shot at throwing the little paper ball into the plastic container. I took a little distance, and as I threw the paper ball towards the plastic container, that's when it stopped in the air and went the other direction, sideways, and fell right into my ramen bowl. Then I just started laughing and said, "Oh my gosh, these aliens are playing tricks on me," and my nephew was like, "Ha ha ha," laughing it out loud. Unbelievable, yes. Impossible, yes. But my nephew was there, and he saw it too. At that time, my whole family was thinking I was going crazy talking about aliens. So my nephew then realized that maybe I wasn't that crazy because he totally saw it too. This was my second actual proof that the aliens were around, and being quite funny actually. Next event was back to my sister's place in the basement bedroom. I was going to sleep one night, and my 4-year-old nephew decided he was sleeping down there with me. So cute. So we were getting ready to sleep when he just made a swirling movement with his hand, close to one of the swirls on the metal bed frame. As he did that move with his hand, the strangest intergalactic sound came out. Pretty loud. Like whirr! I had never heard anything like that sound ever except maybe in a sci-fi movie. And so I looked at him and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, I did like that," and just swirled his hand again. So I knocked on the metal bed frame, see what kind of sound would come out of it. And it tinged in such a way, but that did not sound like anything close to the weird sound we had heard. So I just made a strange face and left it at that. My nephew said no, but I did not touch anything. So I said, "Well, you just did like swirling my hand and whirr, making the strangest sound as it sounded." And he said, "Yeah," bursting out loud laughing. So we just started laughing together, saying, "What the heck? The aliens are playing around with us." And my little nephew, even though he's only 4 years old, also knows about my family, thinking I have gone crazy since the awakening plus alien stories. So I'm sure he will not forget this event. And he also witnessed it, so now he knows that his auntie here is not as crazy as he is being told. So that was 3 for sure proof. And these aliens are quite playful and funny. Moving on to the last but not least paranormal event. Again at my sister's house, as we were all playing outside in the backyard. This time the event is with a little strolling car. So I was playing at pushing around my other 2-year-old nephew in his little car when he decided to disembark and started running after a chicken. So I parked the little car in the grass right where he got off of it and walked away. Then I went on to the little terrace a bit further and sat at the picnic table. A few minutes later, the strolling car started rolling on its own with quite a good speed, like eagerly rolling. And that was on a flat, grassy, bumpy terrain. I mean, If you were not pushing the car, there is no way this could just roll on itself on that kind of terrain, and much less at that speed. And it traveled like that for a good while. This time, my sister saw it, and the two nephews also, because I said, "Oh, the car is rolling on its own," and they had time to turn their heads and witness it very well. It kept going for a distance of about 6 meters, and then it just stopped on its own. My sister said, "Freaky leaks," and that was it. We're all laughing out loud, a bit uncomfortable, but then, no more comments. Nothing else was said about that event, actually, but again, we were all witnesses. So at that point, I've had enough proof of the presence of the playful aliens being around and joking around with me. For me, anyway, that was enough. So there it is. Call it proof, call it crazy. These are my paranormal experiences, and it all happened within 6 weeks after my awakening. Then, since I had enough proof for myself, I was convinced that I could trust those channeled messages and just go on with my life. So I did exactly that, went on to organize the next step in my life, and I did not ask for or experience any more paranormal activities since then. Except for some different kinds of weird things. But anyway, for that part, asking for proof, that was it. Actually, let me throw a couple weird things real quick. Consider them paranormal or not. When I went to Ecuador a year ago, I was amazed by their huge 50-cent coins. Those do not exist in the US, so I decided to keep one as a souvenir. But on the last day crossing the border back to Peru, I had to sacrifice the coin to pay for the taxi. I was pretty disappointed about not being able to keep that coin. But anyway. A few months later, one of those 50-cent coin appeared in my purse out of nowhere. Not the same one because it had a different design on it, but that coin was for sure not in there the whole time, as I had emptied and washed the purse since the trip. Where and how did that mysterious coin appear from? To this day, no way to explain this. But I still have it, and it hasn't disappeared since. Must be a sign of money coming at me. I sure hope. And here is another one to close up. Just last week, as I was looking for something in my bags, I found a little statue of the Buddha. I haven't seen this thing forever. The thing is, I do not remember packing this little Buddha at any time since I moved to Peru. And with all the packing and unpacking that's been done, I had not seen this thing. But now I found it right in the front pocket of one of my bags, like the first row into my things. Very strange. I definitely remember where it came from, though. I got this statue, actually 3 of those, on a trip to China about 24 years ago, and hadn't seen any of them since I don't even know when. But there it was, all whitened from being so old. Very strange, right? Little Buddha traveled through time and came back to me or something. Hard to believe, right? Yes. I have a hard time believing it myself. Okay, so that will be it for now. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I can't wait to read them. Much love and a great journey to you all.